Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is so close we can almost smell the tire burn, but just how long will you be able to battle it out in Switch handheld mode? What's up, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. I've got Gabe here, and today we're talking about how long Mario Kart 8 Deluxe can run in handheld mode. And this was previously a big issue with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, as it saw around a 3-hour battery life, give or take a couple minutes, depending on if you had Wi-Fi on, depending on how bright your screen was. But in general, it was 3 hours of battery life, and people were concerned how future titles would fare. Now, since then, we've seen some lesser games take less battery and last for longer, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the next big hitter, and Game Rant comes in with the important test. How long would you expect this to last, Gabe?
3 hours and 9 minutes.
It's a pretty good guess, because that's exactly what it is. With 30% screen brightness, Game Rant found that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in handheld mode lasted 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 20 seconds, which I'm going to basically say is equivalent to Zelda. Because if you look at all the different websites and their reports of battery tests of Legend of Zelda, some were just under 2 hours, some were just above 2 hours, or I'm sorry, just under 3 hours, just above 3 hours, some were right at 3 hours. This is basically the same. So another big AAA game from Nintendo, and a very similar, if not identical, battery situation.
To me, the question is, how are you using your Switch that you need more than 3 hours? And like I understand there's like certain case usage, right?
Sure.
But you can have the adapter with you to plug it in. Like, to me, like, this is unfortunate. Like, yeah, would an extra hour or two be like great? Of course. But I feel like 3 hours is decent, right? Or am I crazy in saying that?
I think it's decent. I think, to me, for a single session, it's perfectly fine. I think the issue more becomes if you're not able or not wanting to need to remember to charge your Switch in between every use, right? So if you're the kind of person that's plugging this back into the dock every time or plugging it back into the wall every time, this should be no issue. I mean, yes, you could have a really big outdoor multiplayer party where you want to play for 5 hours straight, but in general, I feel like 3 hours should be plenty. The issue becomes now you need to remember to plug this back in, and I think that's where people may get frustrated, especially if they're traveling, especially if they're on a long flight, especially if they're away. I don't think it's the single session time that's an issue. I think it's the more overall time and the requirement to need charges much more frequently.
Sure. And then I feel that for those people, there is hopefully stuff coming. There was that dock that's supposed to add 12 hours of battery life. That's insane battery life. That's great stuff. So hopefully that comes to fruition. People are still doing what they can with power banks through the USB-C cables, although that, it's not a perfect solution, but it will extend your battery life a little bit. So there are ways around it. And again, just for me personally, I'm not playing Mario Kart for 3 hours, like, undocked.
Right.
But again, that's just my personal case usage, and yours may be different. Everybody else's may be different, and I hope the 3 hours are enough. I'm curious, how long did 3DS last? I don't have a.
It was longer than this, and obviously different again based on what you got going on with the system. But I think maybe the bigger story here is it looks like, and granted things could change, but it looks like 3 hours is going to be the battery life for big games going forward. Nintendo initially said 2.5 to 6, and then Zelda, was at around 3, but it looks like Zelda 3, Mario Kart 3. We'll have to see what ARMS and Splatoon 2 do, but I would venture to say that 3 hours is going to be the battery life for big titles going forward.
Yeah. Although you do get closer to like 5 hours on like really small stuff like Mr. Shifty and things.
Sure.
Like that, so. I mean,
yeah.
Nintendo wasn't lying with the whole 3 to 6 thing. That's my only thing. They were just kind of hiding.
They were just hiding the fact, or not hiding, but not explicitly stating that for AAA titles or their biggest releases, it's probably going to be more around 3. Because I would imagine that, you would think that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would be pretty optimized at this point.
Yeah, you would imagine so.
I can't. It would be hard for me to think that, like, Splatoon 2 is somehow going to be infinitely more optimized to give you, 4.5 hours or something of that sort.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, personally, as a gamer, 3 hours is great. I like this. I'm okay with it. I can see where it could be annoying for some people, but let us know in the comments below how you feel about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's battery life and the fact that most likely Switch battery life for big titles is going to be around 3 hours from here on out. Let us know if that's an issue for you, if you're totally okay with it, if you've had any instances where this 3-hour limit has caused you hassle or any stories of that sort. We'd love to hear them. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video and are excited for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We should have it any day now, and we'll begin posting our coverage as soon as we are able. Until that time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Switch, Switch Force, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Until then, though, for myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.